Hi, I'm Joe, and this is a quick demonstration of the Excel 2013 built-in function called VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP is short for vertical lookup, and here we'll see how useful this function is. For the money, it's actually my personal favorite function within Excel, at least of the built-in functions. Here we have two files. These are very, very common that Excel users have to deal with. One is a comma-separated values file, and the other is a tab-delimited ASCII file. Excel recognizes the CSV extension. That's why we see the Excel icon. However, in this case, the tab-delimited ASCII file just has a TXT extension, so it's assumed to be a notepad file. So we can just double-click on Book 1, and we're able to get up the file. It recognizes the commas and puts everything into columns. And then as for our other file, since we can just highlight everything. Here we'll say select all. Whoops, select all. This thing's in a bad mood. Okay, well, you can hit Control A. You know how it is. Anytime that you're actually demonstrating something to other people, that's when it fails. It's one of those computers Murphy's Law type things. But as you can see, this is live and unscripted, or, well, live on tape, as they used to say. All right, so I can just right-click and choose Copy or Control-C, your preference. All right, so here we are back in our workbook, and so that we don't just dump it on top of this stuff, I'll go ahead and just put in a new sheet, and then I can right-click and then choose Paste. Whoops. There we go. All right, so as you can see, the information that I brought in was basically a parts list, SKU numbers, their descriptions, their manufacturer, and their unit price. This data is all bogus. I just made it up for this demonstration. But these are the types of things people have to deal with all the time. And then here we have information from another system. So in this case, it's all dates and SKU numbers. But what the heck are these things, and how much are they worth? That's where VLOOKUP comes in. People have to deal with this nonsense all the time. So we can take these things and say, all right, equals. We start all of our functions here in the little function bar, and equal to denote the function, and then we type in its name. As you can see, V, there are several that are named that. L, there's only one, VLOOKUP. So, and VLOOKUP is nice enough to tell us how it works. I need a value, an array to search, tell me the column index to pull back, and what type of range lookup I'm doing. So here, we'll go through it. In this case, the lookup value here is our SKU number. So by highlighting it, you'll see it shows column B, row 1. Then we put in a comma, and it switches over to table array. Well, in this case, our tables are on sheet 1. We know that we want the SKU number, and we want to be able to pull out that description. So we simply click and drag, highlight it all, and Excel fills us in for us. Hit comma again. And now we have to define a column index. Now what that is that tells VLOOKUP, when I'm pulling back data, show me how many, which column it is that you want me to pull back. Now it starts numbering at 1, and I'll show you what happens when you pick 1. And then there's the type of match. In this case, we're going to go false, because we're matching SKU numbers. You know, these are part numbers for an inventory. We only want an exact match. There are occasions where you'll want an approximate match, but in my own personal experience, false is what I use 99.999% of the time. It's so rare that I ever use the approximate match. That's just me. Your experiences may vary, of course. All right, so I close the parent then here, and so now I have a full statement, and VLOOKUP is able to go and pull the SKU number, and all it brought back was the SKU number. Well, the reason why is because that is set to 1. So remember, we highlighted both of these columns, but we said column 1 is what I want you to pull back. Well, if we really want the description, this 1 should instead be a 2. So it's that easy. All right, so L4D25. And as we look here in our list, sure enough, it's a CPU fan. All right, so what if we wanted to pull in the unit price? Well, we could copy this over. Oh, but now we have some other problems. Here, I almost forgot. And this is a good way to demonstrate it. See how my formula changed. The B changed to a C. So now I'm not even targeting the right thing. And also the sheet slid over. The A became a B, and the B became a C. That's because they're not anchored. As you pull things around on the spreadsheet, they slide, as it were. Excel assumes, oh, well, you meant for it to automatically increment over. No, not in this case. So we'll go ahead and we put in what are called anchors, and these hold them in place. And as a matter of fact, we want anchors for a couple of things. Like, for example, if I were to grab this and pull it down, notice how these all show up as NA, and that's because, again, it's sliding. See how the formula says A2, B19, and then it goes to A3, 20, you know, whoops, and so forth and so on. It's very obvious as you scroll down. So we need anchors to keep these things from moving. That way we can copy and paste things and make it much easier to deal with them. So we know that this column stays the same because that's what we're looking up. So we put in an anchor. Oh, the anchor is a $sign, by the way. We don't put an anchor in front of the 1 because we want the row to increment as we copy this down. The range that we search stays the same, so our starting column and starting row remain the same, and our ending column and ending row remain the same, and which column we return is the same. So now, see this little X right here, or I mean the little square, when you double click it, it automatically fills in using the information available all the way down. And so if we look at our formula, the only thing that's changing now is the row number. The range that we're checking, the column that we're checking, all remains the same. Okay, so back to that issue about what if I want to know how much these things cost when they left my inventory. So again, I can just copy this and then paste it over here. Okay, well, great. It pasted over and all the stuff stayed the same, but I'm getting the CPU fan. Okay, here's why. We're searching A and B. So, A and B. Well, the price falls outside of that range. That means we need to start our search from A and end it at D. The row is the same, 19, but the letter is different. So for this one over here, we'll just make this a D. All right, so we made it a D, but we're still just getting CPU fan. Well, that's because we haven't changed the column. So if this is a 2, da-da, this is a 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Very, very simple. Presto. Let's see. What did I type wrong? Whoops. Sometimes Excel will try to help you. And if you hit the wrong keys, it'll start filling in stuff. So again, that's a good, useful thing to demonstrate. Excel can be overly helpful. This usually happens when you're typing cursor keys and whatnot, and it'll start to fill in things, trying to give you a hand, but really just getting in the way. Okay, so for our Intel CPU fan, which is L4D25, and so we look L4D25, and it's listed as $30. So it's correct. And again, we have our little square, just double click it, and now all the prices are filled in all the way down. Oh, by the way, you're not limited to just looking up things on another sheet within the same workbook. You can actually look up other files. So here, let's take our from the inventory list again. Oh. And let's see, we'll just say, we'll make a nice new Excel document from that. Yeah, and of course that'll be the only, oh, there we go. I was going to say, yeah, that would be the only one that wouldn't bother to show up. We'll just call it test 1, nothing fancy or weird. Paste in everything. Again, it recognizes the tabs and puts them in their appropriate columns, and we can just save that. So again, if I were to open up book 1, you know, I didn't save anything from before, so there's nothing here. And I can go, and as we remember, we just hit equals VLOOKUP. Yeah, if you didn't feel like typing it, you can just click on the one that's available. And of course, our lookup value is B. We know that we want to hold on to that column, so we anchor it. our table array in this case is now on another sheet. So with this open and this cursor here flashing, as I click on the other sheet, it's following me. And you'll see what I mean. And as you can see, it's filling this in here. Let me put this in, and notice that it filled in the name of the sheet, and they happen to be in the same directory, so that's fine. If it was someplace else, we'd also need a path statement. And here, let's see. Oh yes, column index, which in this case is going to be 2, and our range lookup, which is still false. So presto, again, we're able to get our CPU fan. And once again, here, since I included D this time, the only thing I need to change here is this to 4. And now I get my price. Oh, and that little square that gives us a little hand, since they're both selected, they both have their anchors in place, I can just double click that and it fills everything in for me. Oh, and then see these where they don't fit? You can just click and double click here, and it expands so that everybody can easily read everything. And that's VLOOKUP in a nutshell. You know, you can either use it within the workbook or actually retrieve things from other sources. It's very, very handy. If you like this video, be sure to join me on Facebook, and you can share your questions, comments, or suggestions for future videos.